Okay, in this video, I want to talk to you about alerts. Now, there's quite a bit to alerts. There's a number of things, and it can get quite complex. So I'm just going to start from the beginning. We'll work our way through all the different aspects. So first of all, let's just open up this subscription. This is a Virgin Mobile subscription here. I'm just going to go and edit this, and I'm going to open up the alert manager. So currently, I don't have any alerts set on this subscription. So let's just add a new alert. So by default, it's come up with one day before the payment or expiry date, and it's sending it to me. So if I want to change that, I want to say I actually want it from 1 week before, and yep, payment expiry, and I just want to save and close. Done. I've now got an alert. Now I'm going to go into it. If I want to add another alert, let me just click a new alert, and I want to say I want it to be 1 month before. And let's say I want to send it to someone else. I'll set up Bill, that's another person in my contact, and I'll send it to her and save and close. So that's going to now send an alert based on the renewal date. 1 month before, it's going to send it to Bill, and then 1 week before, it's going to send it to John Smith. So that's the simplest component of the alerting system. If I go back into this again, I've got this thing called Apply Profile. Now, I'm not going to click on that yet. I'm going to take you into the settings. I'm going to show you where these profiles are. So let me just close out of this. I'm just going to go into my account, and I'm going to go to Alert Profiles. So down here. Now, Alert Profiles. This is where many times when you want to set up a new subscription, you probably want more than one alert. I know I do. You know, maybe you want to set an alert 3 weeks before, then 1 week before, maybe 3 days before, just to make sure you don't forget or whatever the case might be. And then each time you create a subscription or add in a lifetime deal, you have to go through and add in each of those same 3 alerts every single time. So what Profiles is the ability to make sets of alerts. And then once you've got those sets of alerts, you can apply all those alerts in one click to each of those subscriptions. So you just apply the profile. It makes it very quick to add multiple alerts, particularly if you're always adding the same types of alerts. And if you're also the sort of person who you're sending alert to yourself, or maybe your wife, or maybe to a business partner or someone else on your team, and by the time you've set up the alerts, you might literally have, say, 10 or 12 alerts set up for particular subscriptions. That can be quite onerous. So with an alert profile, you can set up as many of these alert profiles as you like, and then you just apply the particular profile that you want to your subscriptions as you create them. So I've already got an alert profile in here called Gabe's default profile. And you can see here there's a number of weeks before, days before, and they get sent to different people. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a new profile here. I'm going to call this Gabe's new profile. I'll just save that. And that's come up down here. So if I just scroll down, I'm going to go add an alert. And the first alert I want to do is I want to have it 3 weeks before. Now you'll see here, there's different things you can set it for. So you've got your payment expiry date, you can have a contract or refund expiry. So if you've got a contract expiry on a system or you've got a lifetime deal, you may want to use this particular one. Likewise, you might want to set up a profile that you apply to subscriptions that you pause or unpause. So that way you can go, remind me when this subscription is going to pause for 3 months or whether it's going to unpause, so I know that money is going to start coming out of my bank account again. But let's just leave it on the payment expiry date, and I'm just going to leave it as John Smith. It's my alias, John Smith. And I want to add in so let's hit save to that, and add in a new alert. And this one's going to be 1 week before, and to me, and save. And it's as simple as that. You can add in as many alerts as you like, and I'm going to make 2 weeks to do it. And maybe I want to send this one to Zapier. Maybe I've set up a Zapier integration that sends a note to Slack. And so I want 2 weeks before, I want to send the message through to Slack. So I'm going to save that one there. And let's just do one more, 2 weeks before, and this one I want to send to Bill. And I'll save that. That's it. That's done. Now you'll also notice here that you've got a default profile. Now if I want to now set this one as my default profile, when I create a new subscription, if I go through the simple way of creating a subscription, I can just apply default profile, and that will apply instantly all these alerts to that subscription. Now, you might have a whole number of subscriptions already in your account, and you're thinking, gee, I don't want to have to go through every single one of those subscriptions and update their profile, update their alerts. Or, for example, maybe you had a person in your team leave and you want to make sure that they don't get any of your alerts. So if you have a profile applied across all your subscriptions, if you were to go into the profile and say, well, look, I'm going to go down here, Bill's no longer on my team, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this particular one, confirm that. That's done, and that will update every single subscription that has this profile. It'll remove that alert from that subscription. Likewise, if you add a new one, if every subscription that's already got this profile applied, it will update that. So you can dynamically update subscriptions simply by updating the profile that they're associated with. Now, you might actually already have an account and you haven't used profiles at all, and you're thinking, oh, this would be great, but I don't really want to go through every subscription and then have to manually set a profile and then assign that a profile to it. So what we've done here is we've created this Apply Profiles tool. So if I open that up, it's just loading all the subscriptions in. So what I can do here, this loads every subscription in my account, and I can say, I want to apply my new profile, and I want to apply it to this one, and I want to apply it to this one. And if I've got custom alerts here, for any one of these, I can just untick that. That essentially means that if there were any alerts on that subscription already, that will remove them. If I want to leave them on there, I can just keep that box ticked, and they will all stay there. So what it means is that there's additional ones applied. So once I've gone through and said, look, this is all the profiles I want to apply, I can just go Save Changes, and that's done. You've now applied that profile to every one of the subscriptions that you've selected. So if I go back to my subscriptions, I will then, let me open up, say, this one here, and you'll see here, there's from alert profile, gauge default profile, and you'll see all the subscriptions, all the alerts that have come through from that profile, and there's also got one custom alert. So if I had added a custom alert through here, this would be in here as a separate alert when not for up. So you can see which ones are feeding through from the profile or which ones you've specifically made on the subscription itself. So that's alert profiles. Another little trick I want to show you here just while we're here is that you can get to alerts by clicking on this little shortcuts, and you can go straight to this, and that will open up the alert manager directly for that subscription without having to go into the subscription. And you can do everything from here that you normally would. Let's close that again. Now there's another part I want to show you around alerts, and I'm going to go to alert preferences here. Now this is your default alert, and you may have heard it before, but our default alert in the system is 7 days before. And so you can change this to whatever you like. 7 weeks before, you'll know that when you create a new subscription, you can choose just allow my default profile. I'm sorry, delete my default alert, and that will select whatever this is. If you choose my default profile, it'll pick whatever your default alert profile is set to. Now, this time of day will apply to every alert that you get. So if you're thinking that actually getting the alerts in the middle of the night doesn't make any sense, but for me to get them at 1 o'clock in the afternoon makes perfect sense, then you can set this to whichever time suits and makes sense to you. So I'm going to go back and say at 1 p.m. And that means your alerts will arrive at about 1 p.m. up to a few minutes after 1 p.m. depending on when the system gets to your alert and fires it off. And you can also choose your default contact name. So this is for your your single alert setup. But this time of day, this applies to every single alert you get, whether it's through an alert profile or just through your normal alerts. Now, every month on the first of the month, you'll also get a monthly report. And this little section here will tell you what time of day you want to get that report and also whether you want them. So you also see a link on the bottom of that monthly report that says that will actually take you to this page. And if you want to stop receiving those monthly reports, you just have to untick that. but this will set the time you get them. And often I have that on a different time to where my alerts are because it just makes sense for me personally. So that's alerts and alert profiles.